What is up, guys, and welcome to my review of 2008's Sex Drive. Now, I've been trying the past couple of months in the middle of the month to give you guys at least one hidden gem review, a movie that I never hear anybody talking about, but I love dearly. And this month, I'm going to be giving you two, both of them this week. First of which is today. Now, Sex Drive is one of those comedies that I love, that the people that I have shown it to love, that me and my brother Dylan especially have a huge bond over. I think we throw it on just about every single time that he comes into town. And it goes all the way back to the one year that I was in college, which was 2008. And this random movie came across my laptop because I used to be really tight with CP's uncle. Do you understand that reference? Good for you. If you don't, mind your fucking business. And I just came across it and said, whatever, I'll check this thing out. And funny enough, there's an unrated version of this movie that is the wildest unrated version of a comedy you have ever seen, because it's essentially all of the outtakes and second and third takes of ad-libs and a whole lot of penis. And they just edit that back into the movie. And the unrated cut was the one that I unknowingly downloaded. I left it on, and randomly with some friends, I'm hanging out, and then just dicks are going across my TV in the background. So that was my introduction to this movie, and then whenever I actually sat down and watched it, I died laughing. Genuinely one of my favorite raunchy comedies of all time, and unfortunately, with the way that comedy has went, one of the few last great raunchy comedies that I've ever seen. But really quick before I dive into this awesome comedy gem, if you too are planning a road trip across the US to lose your virginity, you might want to take some tools in your arsenal and look no further than the sponsor of today's video, Adam and Eve. Have you ever wanted to gather a few things to spice up that more private side of your life, but have been afraid to walk into a big store or be face-to-face with the cashier? Look no further than Adam and Eve, the #1 source for adult toys and lingerie. And by using Adam and Eve, you can make all of your naughty purchases with confidence, knowing that they have a 24/7 customer service, 90-day hassle-free return policy, and best of all, discreet packaging. So go to adamandeve.com and use my discount code CODY for 50% off of one item, free shipping in the US and Canada, and free rush processing. Some exclusions apply. And thank you to Adam and Eve for sponsoring today's video. So essentially, Sex Drive is a teenage sex comedy. You got a bunch of seniors in high school, the main character, Ian, being the classic nerdy kid that doesn't have any success with women. He's best friends with like the most popular kid in school. He has a crush on the girl that's his best friend, but of course he's friend zoned and it just seems like it's never gonna work out. And he's been formulating this relationship with this girl online, and she offers to take his virginity if he drives across the country with his brother's GTO judge. And so we have our adventure.
Holy buckets. She wants me to give her the D.
Starting off with the positives, the best comedies out there regarding teenagers are the ones where all of the characters are people that we knew or people that we used to be. And just like the American Pie movies, I feel like Sex Drive just nails those high school caricatures. And just about every single person that you knew in high school shows up in this movie at some point, especially in the first act where they're in their hometown. Of course, Ian is somebody that a lot of us that were shyer or a little bit more reserved in high school can identify with, or if we've ever had a crush on somebody or feelings for a friend that we didn't have reciprocated or we felt like we couldn't express. He's just a really good, solid character because he's got a heart of gold, but he just goes into all those common pitfalls of just being clueless when it comes to talking to women, advancing on women, or just doing anything aside from being awkward in just about every situation.
She doesn't want me, okay? She wants him.
I'm sorry. This is good. This is fine.
And then you have Lance, played by Clark Duke. Most people probably recognize him from the Hot Tub Time Machine movies, and I think this is the best that he's ever been. He's always been a pretty funny actor, but this character just fits him and that signature level of snark that he brings. And even though he's not really the typical, like, most popular guy in high school look, like he's not the chiseled athlete who's an asshole, He's just this really likable guy with this really charming level of confidence to where you absolutely believe that this guy would be the coolest motherfucker in that high school. And I love the friendship between him and Ian because they're two opposite poles of the spectrum when it comes to high school hierarchy, and yet their friendship is never impacted by that. There's never like some drama or some issues because one of them has no success with women, one of them has nothing but success with women. And even when you get to a point in the movie to where it becomes obvious that Felicia, the best friend who is friend zoning Ian, actually has a crush on Lance, Lance pretty much flat out says right away, like, no, I would never do that to you. Like, the obvious answer is you like her. That is forbidden territory. And that level of loyalty and genuine friendship between two guys is something that's just kind of heartwarming for me, because me, like a lot of you watching, probably have seen examples of both. Those great friends that had your back no matter what, and those assholes that would betray you no matter what that we don't talk to anymore. And even Felicia, to round out our trilogy of main characters, is a really interesting character as well, because for somebody who doesn't necessarily have the experience of being in the female perspective, I can understand every single thing that she does here. I understand why she cares so much for Ian and is scared to let anything else happen with that relationship. I understand why she is kind of infatuated with Lance, even though he's nothing but a walking red flag. And throughout the movie where she gets challenged with some of those things and where things end up by the end, it's just really good, solid character work for a movie that is just meant to make you laugh and doesn't necessarily have to put all the work into their characters. And beyond our main cast of protagonists, this movie is just jam-packed full of memorable, to me, iconic comedic characters. I mean, you got the two douchebags that sit there and hit on every single woman that comes across them on the little stoop, like, what's up, what's up, what's up? You wanna make out?
You wear thong underpants?
Do you want us to take our shirts off?
What color bra are you wearing?
Is your mom hot too?
Are you into me? Where do you live?
What color car do you have?
Where do you live?
You got Seth Green that gets introduced later on as this Amish guy who has sarcasm down to an art.
Oh, you know, there's a pretty big shindig shaping up next door if you guys want to hang there while we work on it. Let's take it easy while we do all this for you.
Does he have an attitude?
And a bunch of other people that they come across in this road trip, to where it's almost like the people that they interact with is just as memorable, if not more memorable, than the actual situation surrounding those characters. It's just a cycle of bits, a cycle of situations, a cycle of jokes that are jam-packed with each other across the United States highway. And just about all of them will give you a laugh. Some of them will have you on the floor. But absolutely the number one character, the one that I always remember and adore this movie for, is the older brother Rex, played by James Marsden, especially over time, to where that type of character just doesn't show up in movies anymore because he's not really PC, even though by the end of the film, things end up being justified, I guess.
Fuck off, donut.
But I grew up loving characters like Stifler, just the asshole that you love to hate and you hate to love, that just has all the best lines, all of the big memorable moments in comedies like these. And Rex gives Stifler a run for his money for like the funniest character in a sex comedy. I mean, this guy, for the first 15 minutes of the movie, just brutalizes his brother Ian. And every scene that he pops up in throughout the rest of the film, trying to chase down his brother and his GTO judge, absolute comedy gold. And something about the comedy of this movie that I really enjoy is that you can watch it and you always get this vibe like there's a certain amount of scripted material here, but they really let these actors and their natural chemistry kind of come through, and they let them ad-lib quite a bit, because there's so many moments here that just feels like somebody just came up with something funny on the spot and they probably had to redo that take 7 times because everybody around them just busted out into laughter. And I love that kind of feeling that we get in comedies like those, like 40-Year-Old Virgin, where you could just look at all the behind the scenes and just see like 3 movies worth of ad-libbed material. This is one of those types of movies for me. Gotta give props to the soundtrack. The soundtrack to this movie is fucking awesome, like any sex comedy should be. All of the American Pie movies fall into that category, where it's just like a soundtrack of my life in that era. And Sex Drive absolutely fits the bill for me in that era around whenever I graduated high school and started college. Especially if you're a big Fall Out Boy fan, nice little surprise later on in this movie for you. And finally, for a movie that is not meant to be taken seriously whatsoever, for a movie that has a ton of fun with its premise and just goes absolutely bananas here and there, it is extremely silly. I still walk away feeling like it's got quite a bit of heart, because some of the things that it tackles regarding love and regarding, what true friendship is and things like that, despite all of the mania that surrounds those moments, I think they do it really well, and I think it actually comes across with its message pretty effectively. Now look, a comedy's job is to make you laugh, and this movie does its job to its absolute fullest every single time that I watch it. So as far as that requirement goes, this is about as perfect as a comedy can get for me. But if we're gonna talk objectively, negatives, this is a movie that definitely stands on the shoulders of a lot of other films. This is nothing unique. This is nothing new. This is not reinventing the wheel by any means. This is certainly taking some of the tropes that have been there since Animal House and reinforced again in the American Pie movies and Road Trip and those early 2000s comedies. It's certainly derivative to an extent of a lot of the films that came before it. But I feel like it does the derivative side well by doing it in a much different style and also going much further than some of those movies do in certain respects. So this is not going to blow your socks off if you're somebody that just has tons of experience in comedies and you're looking for something fresh or unique or one of those hidden gems that just has a different cadence to it than the things that we have already been applauding for the last 10, 20 years. This is not that type of film, but it's absolutely one of those types of films that does not get near the respect that it deserves, like the American Pie films, like some of Todd Phillips' movies before Joker. It's one of those movies that just, it hits my funny bone. And I think it would hit yours pretty damn hard. So all in all, guys, if you like raunchy comedies, if you like this subgenre in comedy, definitely check this out if you have not seen it before. Watch it with your most obnoxious friend, or if you got a significant other that's got a sick sense of humor, cuddle up with them and get ready to roll for the next 90 minutes, because this is absolutely one of my favorite comedies of all time. Well, that's it for this one, guys. If you enjoyed that, please click over here to check out all of my 2023 new release reviews so far. I'm also going to put my last hidden gem review of The Fan up here. Be sure to check out Adam and Eve. Go ahead and make some purchases down there and save some money with that discount code. Like, share, hit that subscribe button on the way out so you don't miss everything in the future. And as always, remember, opinions are like assholes, but that doesn't mean you have to be.